Good day all. Welcome to ITWeb Security Summit. This is the 20th anniversary of the summit, and welcome all. And today we're joined by Samantha from Cybersecurity Institute. Samantha, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Cool. What's your view of ITWeb celebrating its Security Summit, its 20th year?
I think it's awesome that it's come along this journey. I know also recent years have launched the Cape Town one. Yeah. It's about 7 years now, I think. So the fact that this has been going for 20 years, I think it's an incredible growth and awareness platform that it's giving to all software companies, etc., and the cybersecurity space.
Great stuff. And today you're focusing on the cybersecurity on SMEs. What are some of the top 3 challenges that the SMEs face?
So the key thing, and I'm sure we'll get to that big 2-letter word AI in a second, but the key thing is around how rapidly things are changing and how dramatically people need to start adopting full cybersecurity. So core 3 things in my space that I believe is ransomware, phishing attacks. It's also shadow IT is a terminology, and shadow AI, where it's not being recognized by the business. So it's happening within the business, but it's not a recognized business tool or approved. And then also the belief that they are safe from what's going on out there. Yeah. That's a big risk. They're not, if we don't have the right tools in place.
How do you convince a small business owner who thinks we are not being targeted to try and invest in cybersecurity?
It's a great question. You know, unfortunately, right now, the stats, Accenture and Gartner in the 2023 and 2024 papers that they put out, 43% of cybersecurity attacks are happening to SMEs because they are easy targets. It's just a fact. They don't have the budgets and whatever else. But yeah, it's not, just because you're small doesn't mean you're not targeted.
Mm. And why do you think traditional methods no longer work enough for SMEs in the current threat landscape?
So I think, you know, I come from 2 decades in the IT space and a leading IT department. And I think my experience has shown me that, you know, often the traditional way was always cybersecurity was an IT problem, not a whole business problem. And that is no longer, you know, if the IT department was the only department that uses technology, I would agree with that. But the fact is every department now uses some form of a SaaS system or a computer database or email or something. So it's every department problem. And unfortunately, the traditional way of doing things is not keeping up with the automation and the AI components that are out there right now. So you need to keep abreast with it.
Yeah. You're always moving ahead of me. My next question was on AI, you know, looking at, because everybody's talking about AI and its impact. What is AI's impact on SMEs?
So I think there's 2 components to it, and I touched on it just now, was there's automation and AI. And I think a lot of people get confused between the 2, but they go hand in hand. So the impact is huge because as much as there's amazing trajectory of what and where and how companies can leverage AI, it's also falling into the hands of cyber criminals.
Yeah.
So just as much as companies can use it to grow and scale and do better, so can now cyber criminals do.
Yeah.
So you have to obviously constantly be aware of the threat landscape, understanding the tech landscape that can also impact your business.
But the other issue that concerns small business is the issue of budgets, you know, looking at how they can invest in cybersecurity. And now with the emergence of AI, how does that impact in terms of security solutions, cost effectiveness?
Yeah, look, I think businesses are starting to realize that having an IT budget and a cybersecurity budget and then eventually an AI budget is just a non-negotiable. If you want to exist in this time space of having a business, you need those. Unfortunately, cybersecurity is one of the first areas that get cut in the technology budget. Nobody sees the need for it until you get hacked.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that an awareness comes out to business owners that, you know, rather be proactive instead of reactive around it. For me, as a business owner, it's non-negotiable cybersecurity. You need to put it in place now, even more so with AI and automation in our sphere.
Yeah. What would you say to small business owners who say AI is too complex to understand or to manage? And how would you respond to such?
Yeah. So I agree with him. It's got a lot of complexities, but don't get stuck in that. Leave that to a AI consultant or a AI person that's going to put in place. Focus on what is the problem and what's the outcome. AI can identify a problem. You can have a strategy or roadmap around. These are the core problems that have time suck in our business or that put us at risk. And then come back to, okay, and what is the outcome? And can I measure the outcome with a metric? Am I getting a return on time? Am I going to get a return on investment or a return on safety?
And for SMEs that are starting on their cybersecurity journey, what are realistic steps towards adoption? And that won't overwhelm them.
So the realistic step is start small, start with iterations. So I wouldn't recommend putting a whole big bang out there because there is so much changing in the landscape. Identify what tools you have in place and what you don't have in place and what you need to leverage. Identify your tools that you have in place that have an AI strategy. So I would speak with your tool vendors around it, but also just put a strategy together. Get awareness with your staff, start talking about it across the business. Know that it's not just an IT department problem, it's a whole company and it needs to filter down from the business leader.
And how can SMEs balance automation and human oversight, especially if they don't have dedicated security staff?
Yeah. So I think that's where I come back to that point around awareness for your staff. AI can be like having a jetpack on your back. But if you don't have a direction, you're just gonna go like this and fall down. So having some direction and guidance as to where you think the company's gonna go with some AI and automation, and also making sure there's security in place with it. But then also coming back to starting out with small areas where you could start putting some in place, low risk, and seeing is it working? Okay, yes, it's working great. Okay, no, it's working. Let's pivot this way and let's start in this here. So there isn't a massive disruption, but you've at least starting to align to a strategy and you can measure against whether it's working.
Mm. And what role do you see governments or industry bodies play to try and advance cybersecurity within the SME sector?
I definitely see a growth happening in that space, which I'm quite excited about. And that's, one of the things Cybersecurity Institute is currently doing, where they're doing a lot more cybersecurity awareness programs in conjunction with, different bodies like the Sancts body and so on. I definitely believe there should be more. I think it is government's responsibility to bring awareness around cybersecurity and AI because I think the impact it's going to have is huge. And I think just relying on companies that are for profits and for the public to just get educated on their own is a failed approach.
And do you think AI is going to replace human analysts, when it comes to small enterprises that do not have security operations centers?
I still think you need a human in the loop. I don't ever see AI, well, not right now. I think that this still needs that human in the loop with the decision and reviewing. I think it's going to allow businesses to have one analyst, but act like it's got 10. So that's again that analogy I gave you around the jetpack. So I think it's going to allow businesses to scale and play on that global level, like big conglomerates with massive IT and security and AI budgets.
Yeah.
But they're not going to need to have 10,000 people. They can do it with 100 people or 20 people or 50 people. But I still think you need someone, the human in the loop in the process, to review, revisit, and reiterate.
Looking ahead, maybe in the near term, 2 to 5 years, how do you see SMEs adopting AI in terms of managing cyber risk?
Well, I think it's a non-negotiable. I think they have to start now. It's not a future problem. AI is here now. Cybersecurity is rife at the moment. I think there's so many more attacks happening. We've seen a couple in the news in the last couple of weeks, but big retailers are getting attacked. So they have budget for security. So imagine SMEs that don't have as much budget and don't have a SOC team or security or a AI team. So I think it's just like when you start a business and you write a business plan and you need budget, you need IT and you need security and you need AI. It needs to fall into that same pocket now, almost writing a business plan.
Okay. All right. As we conclude, what are some of the ethical or regulation considerations that SMEs have to be aware of when they're adopting AI?
There's a lot and it's very mixed at the moment. So we've got America coming in where they're like, we don't want to stifle innovation. So they're not having a lot of regulatory. And the reason why I'm mentioning global bodies, so America, the EU are the first to release the, benchmarking sort of the EU AI Act, quite strict, got 4 different categories of risk measurements, whereas China has gone very much in the state driven, all about the state control. And, us going to be in the digital space in our businesses, we operate on a global scale. Now, it's not global with our businesses because of the digital environment. Having an understanding of you might have clients in China or the US or the UK. Doesn't matter where your business is based. You have to adhere to those data privacy, those AI rules, and the cybersecurity rules that fall within you, where your clients' data, where they live and their data. So I think it's huge. I think there's going to be a big need for a lot of compliance education and bringing it back to actually businesses having that as another check before they just start rushing out, grabbing the shiny tools, putting AI or putting their data wherever, and it's actually part of the roadmap and strategy process that they go through, and it's really important.
Okay, no, thank you so much. As lastly, what is that one myth that you wish South African business leaders get rid of when it comes to cybersecurity?
The biggest myth for me is that it's not going to happen to them. Everybody's a target, and I feel really sad for the end users that don't have education around it. And I really, really hope there's a bigger movement around cybersecurity and that there's more awareness that comes into the end user's experience of just pumping their password in for using a banking app or all of that. And I think we are slowly waking up. It's just not quick enough, in my opinion.
Okay. Samantha, thank you so much for your time,
Thank
guys. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Keep watching ITWeb. More coming.